This segment of Naperville Sports Weekly is brought to you in part by the Naperville Sun.
Well, Naperville Central soccer coach Troy Adams, we're here just 24 hours after your guys' super sectional win in Normal, after shutting down a powerful Quincy Blue Devil offense. Your 14th shutout this season. Defense really seems to be about desire, the want to. Is that the same in soccer with this group of guys? Is it a little bit of a point of pride for those guys on the back line?
Well, yeah, and I think it's a big point of pride on the back line. At different times, especially the Quincy game, we had 4 seniors starting in the back. 3 of them are captains. And I think anytime you have seniors and you have captains, they take it as a matter of pride that they take a little ownership of the team. They take a little ownership of the position they're playing. And they definitely did that.
And, you talk about that whole back line kind of as a whole. We know about Mike Pavligo. He's played some great games as your keeper. Who are some of those other faces back there that we really haven't heard much about?
And it's unfortunate. Defenders never get any praise. They're always the last one to get the thanks and the first one to get the finger pointed.
Mm-hmm.
But, Mike Plant is one of our senior captains. He's had a phenomenal year. He was named All-State. And Sean Stevens was an all-conference selection. They've been the center backs for the last 2 years. And so, we have 14 shutouts this year. We had 9 last year. And a lot of that goes right to those 2 center backs. Kevin Linney has been on one outside, especially in the postseason. And, he is all about how hard can I work and how much can I outwork the other player. And then Adam Hamlick has been playing in the back lately. And he's the third captain on the team along with Sean and Mike. And, Adam's the kid that does whatever you want him to do. Mm-hmm. He's the kid that a coach loves. I need you in the back. Okay, coach. I need you in the midfield. Okay. Can you play up top? Sure. And you can't say enough about seniors that are willing to sacrifice, the chance to score goals to do what's best for the team.
We talk about the body of work for you guys in the postseason. I imagine with a lot of people around here and, in the program, out of the program, that the point of pride victory had to be the one over North in their building, number one team that's kind of been the consensus number one throughout even the state here throughout the season. You guys pull out a 1-0 victory after falling there a couple weeks prior. What were a couple things that you guys maybe adjusted or did a little bit differently that the outcome was different?
One of the things I talked about that I said was we definitely adjusted and did some man marking. We put Sean on the player that we thought was their most dangerous threat. We put Adam on the one that we thought was their next most dangerous, and Linney picked up their third. And that game was definitely a point where that was desire and heart. And how much do you want it? The players made a point that a lot of our kids had never beat North at the varsity level. And they wanted to make a point that they wanted to get out of their career at least one win at North. And as a coach and as a player, it's probably one of the few times I can ever remember beating North at North. So the kids took a lot of pride in that game and took a lot of pride in that victory.
And you talk about the kids doing it. You're a Central graduate as well. How much did that make you kind of feel good?
It made me feel great. More because those kids now are going to be able to walk out of here and be able to remember that they beat North in a big game. One of my friends that I played with called me and said that was awesome. They did what we never got to do, and I think a lot of the alumni kind of have that feeling. A lot of emails and a lot of texts from them. Really being proud of what was able to be accomplished.
Now, a lot of times that people look at teams before going in the playoffs, they ask, is this team peaking at the right time? You guys had a little bit of a hiccup to finish the regular season. I believe it was 1 out of the last 4 that you guys were victorious. What did this team, did they maybe learn a little bit before getting ready for regional sectionals and to where you guys are now that you guys were maybe doing a little bit differently?
Yeah, hiccup would be an understatement. I think, that would be the least of the words I would use. But, I think it really served, as much as you hate to lose games, I think it served as kind of a wake-up call to us that, you can't just go out and go through the motions. That 1-3 ending was preceded by like 9 wins in a row. So I think, the unfortunate thing is you win enough and you get into the lull that you just can't lose. And so, you hate to lose games at all, but if it's a couple games that you lose that gets you prepared for the state tournament, if that's what has to happen, that's what has to happen, I guess.
And I think maybe almost bearing the lead here, Central Soccer for the first time in 23 years in uncharted territory, being in the state semifinal since bringing home a second-place trophy. How are you guys approaching this situation, kind of practicing later than you ever have, being in games, later in the season than you guys have.
Yeah, I mean, the boys talked a lot in the offseason about they wanted to make a run. And they put in the time during the summer, they put in the time during the season in order to have the dedication to be able to playing right now. And that's what they wanted. They wanted to be able to play in November. They wanted to be able to play in the postseason. A lot of these kids play a lot of soccer, and they wanted to make sure that they could play every single game they could this year.
And we've talked about the defense, but the offense has really picked up here over the last couple of weeks as well. I mean, you guys were no slouch during the regular season, but getting some big goals and big moments. How big have restarts been for you guys? I know at the beginning of the year, it wasn't really something that was a forte, but with Pat Flynn on free kicks, Blake Beeler with the flip throws, it's really been something that you guys have been able to use as a spark.
Yeah, and if you look at soccer and you use another analogy of football, if there's offense, defense, special teams, it's the dead balls are kind of the special teams of soccer, and how many points are scored on those plays, how much do they change games, and that's kind of the same way with soccer. We've put a focus on it. Sometimes it's just a matter of being unlucky. I think that we've gotten more organized with how we're doing them, and I think guys have really kind of stepped up their mental focus. Kind of the phrase we've adapted towards the end of the year is it's all about heart and mind at the end. How much heart can you play with and how much mind can you use?
And I think maybe one of the reasons you guys are doing so well, another reason with that offensive, your front line and your midfield, those guys are tall. I think you have a lot of guys on this roster that are 6 feet or taller, and maybe it's not as much of a factor as like I am reading into, but you'd think you guys maybe win a couple more balls out of the air than you normally would when a lot of your forwards have 4 or 5 inches on a lot of these guys.
Yeah, we are tall, but a lot of restarts is courage. Are you willing to go in and take one in the face? Are you willing to go in and take one in the chest? And that's really, I think that as we've gone on the season, we've kind of learned that, you got to have some courage in the box. You've got to be willing to throw it out there in order to get it in the back of the net. And, goals have come from odd places, and to be honest, it's been a team effort. Guys that didn't score a lot in the regular season are putting the ball in the net. Guys that didn't get maybe a chance to get an assist in the regular season are picking them up now. And when you look at any great team, it's not just the big time scorers that make a difference. It's those kids that contribute in small ways.
And as we look forward to the semifinals, you guys facing a Frem team that you played in the first game of the Best of the West. I know it was a while ago, but a 3-0 victory. Is there any worry in your minds that maybe these guys will take that team lightly, considering the victory earlier in the season? But at the same time, that was almost 9-10 weeks away.
Yeah, well, they are high school boys, so you get worried about just about everything. But we've talked about that was last season basically. It was so long ago, it might as well have been 2010. I think they understand that when it comes down to this time of the season, you can't look at they played this team and this was their result, or we played them and this was the result. We could look at our own record and say, we played Wheaton South in the regular season. We won once. We could have easily lost a second time. We played North in the regular season. We lost the first one. You can't look at what your results were, even 3 days ago. You have to look at what can we do right now at this time.
Well, we're in the postseason. Just about anything can happen. Troy, thanks for letting us come by, and good luck here over the weekend.
Thank you. We appreciate it, and we're hoping to capture that first state title.